Welcome back to the Venom workshop. So today what we're going to be doing is I'm going to show you how to take all the fairings, gas tank, like completely. We're going to take this thing down to the frame just to show you how to remove everything if you ever have to change a part. And like I said, I'm literally going to take off everything. Everything's coming off the frame. I'm going to take off all the fairings, seats. Up here I'm going to take off the front fairing as well. So that's the video what we're going to be doing today. So basically I'm going to get my tools together and we're going to get started. The X22R is a little bit different for the fairings. Usually it comes with a number 5. Everybody has a number 5, but the X22R is a number 4 Allen key. So you're going to need a 4mm Allen key and a Phillips screwdriver, a 10mm socket, 10mm wrench for sure. All just little stuff like that, and that's about it. So let's get started doing that. So I'm going to just grab my tools and I will be back momentarily. All right, let's get started. So what first thing we're gonna do is move a little closer. Okay, perfect. We'll move in more. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is remove the seat. Key. Pop that off. Put it away. You're going to have a lot of, make sure you have a lot of room. All these fairings and stuff are going to take up some space. And you want to have a place where you can set them down that they're not going to get scratched. You want to take care of your bike ride. You don't want to scratch the fairings all over the place. And sometimes this fairing here might not be scratched, but your tank is scratched, or your tank is dented really bad or something, and you want to change your tank, and you take this off, this fairing here off, and you set it down in a garage floor or whatever, and then you pick it up. It's got scratches all over it. It's best off to just have something to lay it down flat on. And you always lay them down on the back of them as much as you possibly can. Okay, so first off, we're going to remove this fairing right here. I just put my number 4 on a driver so I can take them off a little faster than just using an Allen key. Down here, there's another one. Here, there's a Phillips screw. Just take that off like that. Then there's one more screw over here on the back. It's right underneath here. That's another Phillips. So I'll pop that one out too. Now, that just has a tab in the front that pops out. So right here, there's just a tab inside there that pops off. Now, this one has the lock on it right here for the seat. So we're gonna have to take that off. I'm not gonna take the cable off. I'll save that for a different video on how to do the seat lock, but I will take it off the back of the panel here. It's not hard to do, it's just 3 Phillips screws. Make sure that you have something to put your bolts or screws into. You don't have to mark everything or anything. I'm going to show you how to put everything back on too. There we go. And the lock is out, and we can just let it hang free there. Like I said, we're going to put our fairing over and out of the way so it doesn't get scratched. Alrighty, so next we can remove the back seat right away too. There's 2 bolts that hold the back seat on. That's this bolt right here. And there's another one right here on the other side. The seat, just wiggle it forward like that and up, and it comes off, and that's how you take that off. To take off the rest of this, these come off up here. They take I think it's a number 7 or number 8 Allen key, maybe a number 6. Ow, sharp. That got me good. Okay, so anyway, these will have to come off, and we'll take this whole rear section off as well. But we'll put the seat over the other seat. Oh goodness, popped the bolt right out of there. So we can go ahead and remove these 2 bolts as well. Okay, so now what we can do is we're gonna go to the other side because I have to remove that other black panel. So I'm gonna go over there and get set up for doing that. Okay, so we're gonna do the exact same thing as we did before. We're just gonna remove this black fairing in the center, and then we're gonna take off the rest of the rear. We'll take off all this fairing here. It's just one piece, so it's not hard to take off. And then we'll get the gas tank off, get each fairing off, and then I'll even show you how to take the front fairing here off. And we'll get down to, like I said, bare bones of the bike, and then we'll put it all back together, and I'll show you how to put it back together, but how to have your lines seamless and not vibrating, and you don't want big gaps at your fairings. So I'll show you how to do that as well. So I'll take out our Phillips screws first, right here. Next are fairing bolts. This one I think has a nut on the end of it, so I'm going to go around this way. Drop my nut. That's okay, I can get it after. Pull it off. Then we're going to set it off to the side as well. We can get our back fairing right here. We can get it ready to take off as well. I just have to figure out which Allen key it is to take that off. Six. We'll try 6. Yeah, 6. So I have a big Allen key for that. If just because most people just have Allen keys, but if you have an impact driver, it'd come off like that too. I'm gonna get a better angle at that so you can kind of see what I'm taking out. There we go. There we go. Then we'll take off. I'm gonna go just go put this with the seat. So we'll take off the other side. Okay. Then we can take off the rest of the bolts on that. Put these back over here. All right. So we'll get our number 4. Okay. Now, there's a few more bolts holding this on. There's a couple screws underneath here. I'll show you where they are. This one doesn't really need to come off. It holds the actual light on there. So, yeah, so that's what that's for. So I'm gonna put my bolts down here, and then we're gonna shrink down a little bit so we can look up at the other ones. So there's a screw right here, and if you look a little farther, there's another screw right there. Back up so you can see both. There we go. So we're going to take those off, and I'm going to take them off on both sides. And that fairing's almost ready to take off. And we'll come around to the, actually I might as well just do it here. I can just fold it in. There's literally just 2 screws. I'll take them off really fast. Okay. Wonder what that can snap off of there. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pull out the tail light. So, tail light. Here. All I have to do is, if I follow that up, I'm gonna have to snip that zip tie. Where's my tools? Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to explain the wires before we take the wiring off. So you're going to feel kind of weird as I kind of go into this. It's just the way I have to angle my camera. There you go. Okay. So this orange and this green right here, the orange is always for the left signal light. So you'll know that this is left signal when you put it back together. And this green, you'll notice, has another green that goes to it, but it's not from the other signal light. The other signal light is right here. It's blue, and here this other green goes to a different one with a brown one in it. So what these two brown wires are right here is, one is the tail light for where the brake light is, and the other one is for the license plate light. So they're both constant power once you turn the switch on. So that's what those are for. And they ground, because you can't have both signal lights ground through the same socket, because it'll make your lights go off like four-way flashers. So that wouldn't work. So I just wanted you to see that. And the blue is always the right signal light, and there's a green with that. And like I said, that green would go to either the tail light, or it would go to the license plate light. So we're gonna get started. We're gonna disconnect all this. Like I said, I'll explain it as we go. This one, like I said, so this one here. So this one, now if you see this green wire and white wire, I didn't explain what that was. That's your brake wire. So when you hit the brakes, that kicks the brakes on. So that's why you have three wires going out of your tail light. You are going to have the power for the light. So when it's nighttime, you have a red light on the back. This is for every time you hit the brakes, and this is the ground wire. So we're going to disconnect it first. You just have to pull these little plugs out of the, like that, and like that. So we got first our tail light has been disconnected. Okay. Now the orange and the green, we'll disconnect that next. That's our left signal light. Then we're going to go to our right signal light, which is blue and green. Then we're going to go to our license plate light, which is green and brown, like that. And that's it. So all our lights are disconnected on the back. Now we can finish removing the fairings, and I'll show you how to do that. So you've seen when we look down here, you're gonna see some nuts. There's one here, there's one farther down that way. Again, on the same side, on this side, one there, one down there. One up here, and one right there. So we're gonna remove all that. It should be just a number 10 socket, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm gonna get my socket and be right back. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna remove the bolts on the bottom. We're just gonna loosen them. You're gonna need a 10 mil socket for that, and you might need a 10 mil wrench just to hold the nut up here if it decides to start spinning. You can get your fingers in there. It's pretty simple to reach down in there if you once you get the bolt and you want to grab the nut out of there. The farthest one down is actually right there. I just grabbed it, yeah. So it's not that bad. I can reach the farthest nut right here, and then the next one's here, and then the next one's here. So it's not too bad. So let's go down first. We'll see what we're looking at down there. I just want you to see what we're gonna be taking off. There we go. So you can see that I have to take off all of these. There. And once you loosen them, you can just hold the nut with your hand, usually, and screw them like that. I just dropped it out. It fell right out of the frame though, so I'll grab it in a minute. And then once you do that, go ahead and put the nut back on the bolt. So again, I can reach down. It's loose now, I can hold it with my fingers. This time I'll hold the nut better. Throw that in the dish. And there should be one more right there. Ooh, that one's tight. Oh, that's really tight. Oh, that's loose. I don't understand why this one's so tight. It's coming down though, and it's not. Like it's stripped. Strange. I'm gonna keep going slow with it though, because I don't want it to snap in there. Okay, so I'm just gonna angle a little bit different so you can see that one. Like I said, that one's a little bit, it's been a little bit stiff. Okay. Go. That nut fell too. Might replace that one. I'll take a look at the bolt and the nut though. Well, the bolt's good. So the bolt's not stripped. I'll take a look at the nut before I replace it. Okay, so now we're gonna remove all the this other three here. I did go grab my nuts from that other one. The nuts on those two bolts. Okay, perfect. All right, so now we're gonna remove all these here. So we'll start with this one. Wow, that was loose. Okay. Next one. Just the one left. We can get an angle at it, but it's actually right here. Let's see if I can here. You're not gonna get. I don't think you're gonna get to see it. It's just because it's too tight. Oh, jeez. That's a tight one too. Apparently. Okay. Okay. And there's going to be just a rectifier. You just let that hanging with the wiring. You don't need to take it off. So what I'm going to do is we're going to start wiggling this all off. I just have to set up my camera a little bit better and keep it set down right. There we go. Now let's take a look. Let's figure out what we have to do to wiggle it off. I'm just going to touch it here, the back fell out. So I'm going to go ahead and remove my rear light. Just like this. I'll put it over here. And the whole rear section here should pull right out and off. There we go. See that? That's the whole tail section. Then you can remove you should be able to remove your plastic fairing here. There we go. Just like that, lift it up, take that off. So that's the whole back section of the motorcycle is off. This is not a fairing. This is just a fender, it's a rear fender, it's just a mud guard. I'm not going to take it off, there's just no point to take it off, it's not part of the fairings. But everything else, like I said, that's that. So, moving on up. As we come to the right here, take these fairings off, there is some stuff we're going to have to do. I'm actually going to move everything over to the other side because I like to take off the left side fairing first. And then I take the right one off after, and I'll show you why I do that after we get to the other side. So I will meet you over on the other side. Okay, so next it's going to be these fairings here. Like I said, I like to take this side off first and then the other side off. So on this side, what we're going to have to do is there's some bolts that are going to have to be removed. So we're going to have to take off this bolt, this bolt, this bolt, this bolt, and there's nuts on these two bottom ones, so you're gonna have to take that off, and then there's one way down at the bottom in the front, and we're gonna take off this one. There's some screws we gotta watch and make sure we take off, like one up here. This one actually got damaged before. It's been repaired, but it's still you want to be careful, right? So we're gonna take off all those. There's gonna be another one right up here. It has to be taken off. The screw right here has to be taken out. So might as well just get started. The X22R is a very tippy bike already, so be very careful when you're straightening out the handlebars on this one. I don't like the lean. I think they should have a tiny bit more of a lean to them, but the clip fell off the bottom of that one. That one actually doesn't have to come off. I do have to take off these bottom ones. Like I said, those ones have a nut on them. Just put your nut on it so you don't lose it. Okay. it's fairly loose. I don't want to pull on anything because it's gonna make it want to drop down. There's some more screws and bolts up here. So I'm gonna drop it down a bit. Right up front, right here, there's another one. And we're gonna want to crank our handlebar all the way back the other way to do that, to get this one off. So try to hold the bike. Like I said, it does not like being leaned, this bike. So now I'm going to crank my wheel back that way. It'll give more of a stability to it. And we can take out the ones down here anyway. And now I'm going to take out, going farther down to show you, because inside here there's screws and there's a bolt down here, so we've got to take it out. Very loose. Okay, that one. These here are just Phillips screws here and here. Okay, so now all these fairings are really loose here. This one up here. Just move off there, yeah. There we go. So now I just snapped it off. If you look, I'll show you what I mean. I'm just gonna put that down on its back like that. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So if you look here, there's little snaps for taking off this piece here. We're gonna take this piece off in a minute too. We're going to take off the screws that hold it here, and then there's one more screw up in here that holds it. We're going to take it off too. So we can actually do that right now. Okay. That screws out. There we go. And it just should. Oh, actually, there's a screw right there, right underneath where my thumb is on the inside. I'll show you. Just on the inside, there's a screw right here. So now we're going to disconnect our signal lights. And remember, I told you it was orange and green on the left always. I'm going to now crank that back that way, and that's it. You can take that fairing, go put it off to the side. Now, removing the front fairing is actually super, super easy. I'm not going to bother doing it because I just don't need to. But all you have to do to remove this front fairing, all this, and it all comes off in one section, is remove that bolt and that bolt, and it just slips right off that section. That's it. There's nothing more I can tell you. You just literally take those bolts off and the whole front comes off. But you have to get down to this far to do that. So no matter what, that's what you have to do. So what I'm gonna do next is I am gonna go to the other side. We'll remove those fairings, we'll remove the gas tank, and that will be it. All the fairings will be completely off. And that's pretty well it. Like, it's, I guess, we'll go just swing around here. Here, I'll grab my light and I'll be right back. Okay, so right back to it here. We'll go ahead and we'll finish taking the fairings off on this side. So okay, that now I have to take off the upper one. But I'm not going to loosen that one all the way off. I don't want the fender to fall off, or sorry, the fairing to fall off, because I want to take off these front ones first. Now I should be able to take all this part off right here. Should just pop off this black part. Again, you see the bike, the way it popped toward me? There, and we got it off. But the bike pulled toward me. Again, it doesn't lean very hard over on that side, so be very careful when you're working on it. Okay, so that's our left side, or sorry, right side fairing. Again, set it off to the side where you're not going to step on it or anything. We got to remove this one. So there's a screw right here. Oh, there it is. Oh, nice. It's not even in there really tight. Good. There. So I just pulled it out. Thanks. Take this bolt out here. And there's a Phillips screw right there. Okay. There's a nut underneath that one. There we go. kind of lift it off like that. I'm going to do the same thing with our signal light over here, blue and the green. Pull it apart. And we can put our fairing over here. Now to remove the fairing here, like I said, it's just two nuts right here. You just have to loosen them off, and then it just comes, like it literally comes right off. You can get to them like that. Like that. Well, we're going to remove our gas tank. So we're going to go to the other side to do that, because our fuel line is on the other side, and so is the fuel sending unit. So let's get set up over here. Okay, so come down here first, turn your fuel to the off position, just like that. And now we can pull that fuel line off the carburetor, and then we're going to lift the tank. But when we lift the tank, is this? Yeah. So there should be a wire like that. One's yellow and white, and the other one's green. I want you to unplug that. That's for your fuel sending unit on your gas tank. And then all you need to do to remove the fuel tank is we got to remove this bolt right here. Just like that. And remove the gas tank, very simple. Grab it here, lift up, grab it in the front, and just pull back. And, oh, sorry, there's a little bit of gas left in that hose. And now we'll just set it down there, out of the way. Now I'm gonna go around to this side. And just taking a look here, because we could always pull the dash out, and I could show you that too, and how to take the handlebars off, things like that. If you take the handlebars off, it makes it a lot easier to take the dash off. Then you get a look down behind there, or take that front fairing off. So you could do either one of those, but taking the handlebars is always a best option if you're going to take this dash off without taking this off. Because if you have to change your dash type thing, flipping off your handlebars is probably the easiest way. And then when it's easy to when you put it back together, because this line literally lines up with this line, and that's when you know your handlebars are straight where you want them to be. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to remove the handlebars. I know this sounds a little crazy, but the reason we're going to do that is, let's go up a little further. Then we'll be able to get to the screws behind the dash. It just makes it easier. And I mean, it's not going to do anything. They're just going to kind of lay down to the side here. But we are going to need our big Allen key. So it should be a number 6, I'd imagine, the same as the handles. And there's just two. Okay. There we go. And you can lay them on the inside so you can get these screws around here, and then just kind of flop them around and move them around as you have to. So let's go ahead and start removing our screws. And if you want to remove, and you're also going to have to remove these mirrors. But we're going to get all these screws from around the dash. Might as well take everything off, right? Go big or go home. Okay, that one doesn't want to come out, so it's out, it just doesn't want to lift out of the hole. So we'll just move to the next one. I'm actually going to flop the cylinder down here so I can get to that one easier. Again, that one's out, it doesn't want to come out of the hole, so okay, now that's off. It's almost where we can get it off, but what I want to do now is remove those mirrors. Once I remove those mirrors, it'll get me, this is what, the mirrors are what mount the front to the bracket in front. Oops. Over here with my tail section. I'm just gonna do the mirrors on this side too. Oops. Oh, got that little black piece. I'll put it over here. Other mirror. Now you see the fairing. Just have to kind of wiggle it like that, and it'll snap forward like that. And all we need to do to take this fairing off, this is our light wire. Just have to unplug it, and that's it. And then this whole nose section here is off. So now, if we step back and look at our bike, old girl's completely naked. So if we take a look at the workshop here, you'll see all of our parts. A big little bowl of screws there. And there's our gas tank. And then there's all our RTL fairings right here. And then our naked bike. So now is a good time while you have all the fairings off to take a good look. Now is also a good time that if you have any rough spots you see anywhere, give them a little scuff with a scuff pad, clean them up, a little black paint, you know, touch all that stuff up. When your bike is down like this, it's the best time to clean it up and make it look brand new again. So I'm gonna let you guys have a quick inspection of your bike there, and I'm gonna be right back. Okay, so now that you've checked out your bike and you've seen things that you want to touch up and you're all done to take care of that, we can start throwing this all back together. We're going to start in the front with our nose cone, and then we'll work our way around. So our front fairing is right here, so let's get it kind of set up so we can put it on. Now, when you put that fairing on, you're going to want to line up your two holes for where your mirror go, here and here. And once we get the mirror on, that'll basically hold it in place. We can go ahead and take our screws out of here now, though. There we go. And they're a little bit smaller screws up in the top than they're the ones usually around there. So we're gonna put them there. Okay. So now, it's our front fairing right here. And all we have to do is connect our lights first. Okay. And then just set it up into place. It has to kind of shimmy underneath. Like that. Like that. Like that. There we go. Now, I want you to look inside too. Make sure that everything lines up inside there too. But this one wouldn't have lined up because it came out a bit. Anywhere you see these little tabs are pulling out or loose, just give them a little squeeze and put them back on. Okay. Results going to be good. So I'm going to do it again. There we go. Like that. Perfect. Now we can go ahead and put our mirrors on. Now when we put our mirrors on, what it'll do is it, right where that's a steel frame that connects it to the frame of the bike, and that's what actually holds this whole front fairing on, is right here. The screws help around the dash, I'm not gonna lie, but this is what really holds it on, is the mirrors. Oh, I better grab my Allen key. It's always a lot easier if you have the tool with you. Okay. sorry. Okay. If these mirrors look a little bit different than on your X22R, it's because they are. I did a comparison video to show that these mirrors, or the X22R mirrors, so these mirrors are off the X22 GT250, but they're the same mirrors. So they look a little, aesthetically they're a little different, but they work the exact same. So if you do get mirrors for the X22R or for the X22 GT250, it really doesn't make a difference. If it has this mounting bracket right here, they all work the same. For this side. There we go. Okay. Perfect. Now we just have to go around and put all of our screws back in around the dash. So start on this side. Right here. We're just going to start down here. Oh, might as well go on. Seal. There we go. So some have little screws and some have big screws and some have even bigger screws. So I'm going to show you the difference in all of them. I just find all the screws in a little tray here. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. So these longer screws like this, but they're smaller than all the other screws. They go up here in this spot up here, here and here, and the two other little small screws, the shorter ones, go into here. So they're the only two screw places that are different. I don't know why, but okay. So first, I'm going to get the ones up on the top. Beautiful. And the next one. I might as well go put our little tiny ones in here. I'll go ahead and do the other side. Beautiful. Now, the next ones are all the bigger ones. Okay. is the one on the inside here. You need a shorter screwdriver. There we go. So that's in. Now we can put our handlebar back on. And I just put my screws down, grab my number 6. Alrighty. Go. And now we just have to match it right there. A good way to see if you're in the right place, when this wheel is turned all the way, you should be able to get your handle right there. It should come almost to the windshield. You want to make sure that these are tight. Don't you handlebar coming loose while you're riding. There we go. So that's on. So next we can go ahead and we can get our gas tank ready to put on. Again, you'll want to make sure that you plug in your fuel sending unit there. The wires right here, so don't forget to do that. So let's go around this side. Now what we're going to be doing is the front of the tank, there's 2 grooves that line up with this and this grommet. You can actually feel down through when you're putting it on to see, and you can actually kind of see if you're looking right. So we're going to go ahead and slide the tank on here, then we'll put the mount back on here. Okay, so now I'm just going to line up the 2 grooves in the front, slide it forward, and put my tank back down like this. But before I put my bolt on though, I'm going to put my wire on for my fuel sending unit. Just plugging it in. There we go. All plugged in. Now here's our bolt for our tank. I'm going to put that on next. I'm not going to tighten that up yet until after I get all my fairings lined up first. So our tank is on. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my fuel line back on my carburetor too, just so I don't forget. Just shut down like that. There we go. I can turn my fuel back on like that. Perfect. So now fuel tank's back on, it's all hooked up. The fuel sending unit's hooked up. And now I can put on my front fairings. I'm going to start on the other side, just like we took them off. side. The tools we need. And I'll bring my light. See a little better. We can get started. So when we get started here, we're going to want our black panel, our fairing to go on the tank first. So you're going to want this one first. What did I grab? Oh, I dropped it on the side. Oopsies. Okay, there we go. Now I got the right side. So this is the right side. The way you know that is by the wires. The blue wire is always on the right. And now we just have to go ahead and get started here. This goes like this on here. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna connect our wires first. So when we look up inside there, wires are hanging right here, so you just have to reach up, and here's our glue right here. Now we're going to go ahead and connect those. Gotta have those signal lights. Okay, now when this goes together, there's a little tab right here on this. Back up a little tiny bit. And it kind of slides on. Oops, the wires. We're gonna push the wires like up as we're going. They'll stay up there. And this goes together just like that. There we go. And it goes together just like that. So we can go ahead. We can put our bolt and nut up here. And that's just a regular fairing bolt and nut, and a big screw goes there. Just like that. In here. But when I put my bolt in, I'm going to want to make sure my fairing stays tight to the tank. Doesn't look good with big gaps. There's not a big gap there now. Okay, so that fairing's on. Now we just have to back up and get the other fairing. And we're gonna get it on. Now this fairing, you're gonna want to line up these 3 snaps. 1, 2, 3. 3. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Snapped, all snapped in there really good. So now we can just go around and put our bolts on. Start up in the front. Perfect. Okay, now we can move back. These are all just regular fairing bolts. These ones have nuts on them. Perfect. Okay, now you just go around to the other side. Get the other side fairing on, and it's just put the back on, and that's it. Noticing something on this fairing. I'll show you in a sec, but the panel is not on the right way. You'll see it hooks off the wrong side here. Not okay. So now we can go ahead and we can get this side fairing put on right here. So here's our fairing right here. I did go ahead and fix the little panel here. I didn't like the way it wasn't snapped together right, so I fixed that while I had it off. Oops, I'm putting the wrong one on. Yeah, put our black one on first, put the signal light on it. So again, that's going to be our first to go snapping on. So, how to put this on is the same as we did before. It's easier if you turn the handlebar to do it, but be careful, like I said, it does not like leaning that way, that bike. And we gotta just put the clip in the front here and then slide forward just like that. Then we can go ahead and put in our big screw in the front. Oh, something we forgot to do is plug in our signal light, but I can plug it in right here because I can still see it right here. So I'll go ahead and I'll plug that in. Orange to orange. Green to green. Like that. Now we can go ahead and put our screw in. And we can put our bolt in at the top too. And then once our bolt's in at the top and this fairing is nice and tight, then we can go ahead and we can tighten down our gas tank. I like to leave our gas tank loose just so we can center them fairings better. Oops. Bolt here. I'll show you what I mean. I just like the lines on my fairings nice and tight. There we go. I'd actually sit on it so I can get it to move the way I want it. There we go. There, like that. Go ahead and put my up on the bottom. There we go. And that black fairing is installed. Now we can put our side fairing on. Before we do, I just want to turn that so it leans a little bit more. Again, when we put this fairing on, we got to line up these tabs with these holes. Just like that. Oh, and you see how that bike wanted to shift sideways? Just the littlest bit of pressure I put on there, and it just immediately wanted to slide over. Okay. Okay, so the top is all together and up here like this. So now we just have to go ahead and put our bolts on. So let's we get a head start. So let's drop down here. We're going to put all our fairing bolts on, right from the front all the way to the back. Again, I have to straighten that up a bit. So we'll start at the front, work our way back. First, we got our first one up here. Swing that back this way. Then we have a bolt that goes in directly at the bottom, remember, on the front. And we're going to have to kind of pull all this together to make it go together. Okay. Now we can put our screws in. Next one. That's all the screws there. Now we're going to keep going back. We're going to do the bottom one here. That one has a nut on it. So just tighten it up. There we go. Trying to get the nuts started on here. Come on, you. I do not know what happened here. Why did that not just not go on there? I'm going to actually move you back this way so I can get a better reach on this. There. There we go. Grab that other nut on here. Let's put this other bottom one in. Okay. I don't know what's going on with that nut. It really likes to jump out of my fingers. Okay. Now I just have to put the two up higher. So there's one here. And one on the tank back here. Okay, and now we can also tighten up our tank. Now we can tighten that bolt down right there. And that's it for that side. Now we just have to move to the back, put our rear parts on. Just like that. First, if you remember, it's our red piece. Go up a little bit so you can see how I put the red piece on. Now the red piece, when it comes in, you put it in like this. Let it go like that on each side. Now underneath the plastic on each side. That, and shimmy it forward like this, and that's in place right there, just like that. So that's the red part. Now the black part is easy to get into. It just slips underneath everything else. So when this goes in, it's just going to slip underneath. I might go ahead slip in my light right away. we go. Said you're working through the rubber grommets on each side. I don't have to put my screw in just yet. I'll do that in a couple of minutes. And that'll hold it where I want it. And then I can slip on the back part where the plate goes. I actually like it the way it looks like this. It makes it look a lot cleaner. But it's just the way it is. It has to be. So, but we'll grab this. Now to put this back on, it's fairly easy. We're just going to slip it up inside here. And it goes all the way along. Oops. There. Remember I was telling you about those clips. You want to be very careful. Because they're tight on there and they don't fall off. So a bit loose. So I'm just going to track it down. Oh, there it is. Oh, wow. That was easy to track down. Okay. Okay. So, this, we're going to need our wires to come up here. And the inside goes in there. And on this side. That. You just have to slip it underneath on both sides in the back. Like that. Sorry. You just have to fold the tabs in there like that. And all that's back together and where it's supposed to be. Now if you look at my holes, all my holes are pretty well matching up already. I'm not worried about the wires just yet, but this I am. So we have to put our two back bolts in first. The two back bolts are really long bolts. That's really long ones that were a little bit hard to take out. I know why they were hard to take out now, and I'll explain in a minute. But we can go ahead and get those back into place. Get ready to put everything back together, bolt everything back on. But that's pretty well it. That's what we've got our tail section in place. Like I said, now we just have to go ahead and put our bolts, start our bolts back on. Okay, let's get right back to it. Okay, so we got our all of our parts back in. Now our front or our rear tail light's going to need the screw put in here. I did bring everything over, and I want to put the screw in, and then we're going to start buttoning up and putting bolts in. I want to get a couple bolts started before I go ahead and do the wiring, just so everything's not flopping around. But what I'm going to do first is I'll go ahead and get that light in. And it's just one of the big Phillips screws. And when you put the light in, you want to make sure that it matches up nice on that back fairing. See how it slipped down there? That's why I want to go ahead and put it on, so it doesn't slip down anymore on me. There we go. Now it won't slip down out of that little thing. Now if we wanted, we could go ahead and put all of our Phillips screws in along the bottoms of the fairing. I think there was 4, yeah, so there's 2 on each side, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's it. And then we can put our bolts in from the bottom, put our nuts on, get all that buttoned up. And then there is a voltage rectifier here for the lights that we're going to swing back and put back in place too. That was for our big long bolts. They actually come through a nut here, and that's why they were so hard, because there was 2 nuts on them. So that's the nut right there. So we're going to go ahead and put them bolts up. They're going to be our first bolts that we put through. That's the big long ones. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So that was these number 10s right here. They're big, big, long ones. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put those in first. And I'm going to grab a 10 on socket. And those nuts, you're not going to need the nut right away. The nut is actually to hold on the voltage rectifier on the inside. So like I said, we're going to go ahead, we'll put these ones in. And that'll help hold the whole rear end kind of together while we we put everything together. Oop, I dropped one of my nuts. So let's get down here and I'll show you where I'm going to put them in first and why. Okay. Okay. So here's our first one. It's way back up inside here. Okay. So I got that one started. So before I tighten that one right up, I'm gonna go ahead and start my other one. Here, let me turn a little bit. Maybe you can see a little better. You can see the holes. You can already see where I started that other one, back up in there, right there. Now we just have to start this one here. Okay. Nice. Now we can go ahead and we can start our other bolts as well. So there should be 4 other ones, the exact same as those, just a little bit shorter than the other ones that go up. And they have a nut that go on the top of them. Okay, there's one. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put the nut on it. I'm not gonna tighten it in case we have to straighten anything. Okay. Now, there's just the one down here. And it's a little bit tighter to get to that one. Let's get the nut on, but you can do it. I'll show you how I do that in a sec here. Okay, so when I do that and I'm holding a nut and I have to get into a place that's real tight, what I do is I'll take my nut and just put it between my 2 fingers like this, and then I can hold it in place while I put the bolt and the nut on. I'm gonna go with my right hand on this one. Okay. That's good now. So now I got all my nuts and stuff in, so I can go ahead and tighten up the 2 back ones. And the reason I want to do that is because there's a nut that goes on the top that holds that voltage rectifier in place. But I'm going to put these up first, nice and tight, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm gonna turn them up as far as I can with my fingers rather than. Okay. Okay, so those are tight. Now, what I wanted to show you is, now, inside there, you'll notice these bolts are both sticking up. That is for your voltage rectifier, which is right here. It slips on those 2 nuts like that. And then we can put our nuts, the 2 last nuts that we had from the back, we can put those on there. Like that. Okay. Now, I'm not gonna still tighten anything up because I have some screws to put in. So we might as well put our screws in. And like I said, there's 2 per side, one here and one down here. So let's get those screws and we'll get them up into place. So the ones on the outside here, just go up like that. And I'll do the other one right up here. There we go. Now we'll go to the other side. Just like that. Nice. So all our screws are in place. They seem to be holding everything right where it's supposed to be. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to tighten up all the bolts and nuts underneath here, and then we can hook up our wires. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over here, and we're going to start tightening up all of our underneath bolts here. Now, all you have to do is hold the nut with your finger, and as soon as it starts to tighten up, the bolt will grab. It's got like a rough bottom, so that as soon as it starts to even snag on the plastic, it'll grab. Okay. Okay. All right, perfect. Okay, now what we can do is we're going to come up to our voltage rectifier. I'm going to fix my camera a little bit better, because we're going to tighten down the voltage rectifier now. Okay. Okay. And I missed 2 screws actually. There's another 2 right down here, so I'm going to grab those. They're just the big Phillips screw that goes in from the bottom. Just put them up here. Okay, and then we'll go do the one on the other side. So it's just right down here. And if you don't find that they're lining up, you can always look from the front and it'll show you. Like that. Now we can put our bolts back in at the top. So there should be bolts for here and here, and then here and here. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to do these ones first. So we'll do these bolts first. And that's just your regular old number 5s. Or sorry, number 4 Allen keys. And then after we're done putting all these bolts in, just the 4 last bolts, we will, excuse me, we'll hook up the wires. Oops. Oh yeah, I got my number 4 in here. And again, when you're tightening fairings, you don't have to tighten so hard that it cracks the plastic. Just nice, as soon as you feel it tighten up, just a little half turn after, and that's it. That's those 2. And then there's the lower 2. So right here. Again, just your not regular old number 4s. Perfect. Just like that. Beautiful. Now we can get the spaghetti wires and we'll get that hooked up. Okay, so you remember when we did our wires, I was kind of explaining them as we went along, that you can't hook some wires to some wires. It just doesn't work out like that. Like some signal light wires cannot be hooked with other wires. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring all my wires underneath this tab right here. Actually, my taillight wire I'm going to bring down. And we'll go underneath here with them so I can show you how they all hook up. And they're supposed to stay down low like that, so nothing snags them. So I'm going to raise them up like this, and we'll go at them one at a time. I just want to push this boot down so we can see what we're doing. And then after we're done, I'll go ahead and I'll fix them up. Okay. So we've got right now our orange. So our orange, that's a brown. We don't want a brown. We want an orange. So I'm gonna look for my orange. There's that. No, that's not my orange. There's my orange. Okay. So my orange is gonna go to my orange. Like that. Now my green is going to go to one of these greens, but I can't put the same green in there as the other signal light. So the blue can't go in there. So the blue has to go in the other green. So when you hook up the green from that, make sure you're in the other double so that they're not hooked in the same ground line. Now we just have to find our blue and hook it up. Here's our blue. So, like I said, blue to blue. Now, the brown, I remember, is a constant, so alrighty. So the 2 browns go to this black wire because that's a constant power wire. Wait, no. It's one of those doubles, black and yellow. Oh, there's my green and yellow. It goes right here. Okay. So now my browns both go to the black, like that. Like that. And then the 2 greens from the brown wires go separate to the plugs too. So each one goes to the different greens, and that's it. That's all our wires, and that's how they're hooked up. And next we'll get our back seat and we'll put it on. Okay, so now that we got all our wires hooked up right, what we want to do is there's a little boot here. We're just going to slip this little rubber boot up the wires, and it just stops any sort of moisture or anything from collecting on them. So we want to just slip them up like that, and then just tuck everything down underneath here like this, and then it's all out of the way and perfect, just like that. Now that's our whole rear fairing has been installed. Now we have to do is put on our hand guard, or our hand grips here. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Now these are a number 6 Allen key. You want to make sure these start freely. If it doesn't seem like it's going in right, it's probably cross-threaded, so don't force it in there, because you'll just strip out the hole. Okay. That's that. Ready? So we just have to tighten this in here. Okay, I'm just gonna finger tighten this, and I'll go get my my Allen bolt, or my Allen key, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now we're back. I got my Allen wrench. Like I said, it is a number 6. And make sure these are straight. If they look kind of crooked, it's gonna make your bike look weird. So I just kind of center them with the back here. I look at the lines of the bike, and then I'll tighten them. Some people are, I guess, if they're just riding their bike just to work and stuff, and they don't really care. It's all about just about functionality. But I like to look good when I'm functioning. So now, just gonna go ahead and put our rear seat back on. All we're gonna do for that, there's a little tab here, slips up underneath here, and then it slips down like that. You want to make sure that that rear doesn't lift, and then we can go ahead and put our bolts in there and there. And the bolts there and there, number 4 Allen bolt. Beauty. Okay, perfect. Now, there's only a few little things left to do. We have to put the panel on this side, our battery cover fairing. So we're gonna come around and do that. Get our screwdriver. Come around like that. And this is one of the easiest fairings to put on. So here's our panel. Now there's a clip on it right here, and that goes in that hole right here. So we're gonna line that up first, pop it in, and then we can go ahead and put our bolts and our screws in. Okay. Now remember, that bolt down there had a nut on it for this side. So I will need to put a nut on that. But we can go ahead and we can put this one in. And we go ahead and put our screws in. It's too small. That's the right one. Okay, now we have one right down here on this side and underneath. Oh,
I'm such an idiot. I went ahead and put those screws in inside, and I had to put the fairing on first. So just take the screw out that you've already put in there. And then you can put the fairing on too. There we go. There we are. And now I just have to get a nut for that bolt. I don't know what happened or how I dropped it, but I will find a nut for that, and I will be right back. I'm gonna make sure and put everything back together exactly the way it's supposed to. So give me one moment. All right, I went and fetched the nuts really fast there. So we're down here. Okay, so the nut actually goes in this one. And to get to the nut on the back of that, it's pretty easy. On this side, you can reach around and put your hand in here. Like that. Now we just have to tighten that up. Okay, perfect. And now, right side's all buttoned up. All we have to really do to make this side look pretty is put the seat on. So we're gonna flip around to this side, because on this side we have to install one more thing, and that is the key lock on this fairing. So we have to go ahead and put the key lock on it, just like we took it off. So I'm pretty sure. There we go, just like that. Now we have our Phillips screws. There's 3 Phillips screws that hold us on. I just have to get my screwdriver, because of course I left it over on the workbench. But those are started, so we can go ahead with our screwdriver. Okay, now this just goes like that, and that cable just kind of flows up like that, and then we put our fairing in place. We'll snap and a push just like that. There we go. Now we can start our screw up here. I want to make sure my key lock works first. Yep, works good. Put that in there. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm going to put my screw in back here. Oh, excuse me. I actually already had a screw in there, remember? So we'll take the screw out. Just like that. Then we can put it up. Oops. Okay, what's going on here? There we go. Okay. Oh. Okay. That's perfect. Just have to slide my thing over for my bolt right there. So there's just my 2 bolts now. Right here and right here. There you go. And the 1 bolt down here on the bottom. And there you go. So, right there is how you install the fairings, or actually remove and install the fairings on the X22R. All you have to do now is put the sheet on. Make sure I'm up my seat. There we go. Seat locked. Our bike is all back together. So there you go. That's how you do the fairings on your X22R.